Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Marriage Material Podcast. I am Karina Lucas. I'm your host. We've got a great guest with us today, Ms. Joann Schinderle. How you doing today, Joann?
Hello, I'm doing wonderful. You look glorious.
Oh, thank you so much. So do you. You're wearing a very cool hat. You're in Minnesota right now. All kinds of shit going on.
The world is upside down, and I'm stuck in the snow, and I'm very content, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm stuck in, it's 70 degrees here in Texas right now, so suck a dick.
Gladly, get it frozen. It tastes the same. A cold dick or a warm dick, honestly, the same.
You lose some of the nutrients when you cook it, I hear, so you got to be careful not to overcook it. So we're going to do Sigmund Freud today. He's a historical figure. We'll find out. Is he hot? Is he stable? Bonus points? We have so much to figure out today.
I'm assuming he's not stable.
You know what? It's very rare. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was stable, and she was boring as fuck. So I hope she's not. I hope he's not stable. Yeah, I get the feeling he's not because his theories are just wild. So we'll see. I get the feeling he's super fucked up. He would be an incest porn guy, I think, if incest porn was a thing back in the 1800s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did he have siblings? Are we going to learn that?
He had a bunch of siblings. We'll get into it. Yeah, we'll get into it. Excited. Let's jump right into it. Sigmund Freud. Here we go. Freud was born to Jewish parents in the Moravian town of Freiburg in the Austrian Empire, the first of 8 children. So he had 7 siblings. His father, Jacob Freud, was a wool merchant. He had 2 sons, Emmanuel and Philip, by his first marriage. So he had 2 step-siblings. And Yeah, so the incest porn already super
He's
strong.
He's already touching step-sibling titties.
Abso-freaking-lutely. So pioneer of incest porn, Sigmund Freud. Where's the dollar bill for Sigmund Freud? You know what I mean? For what he did for incest porn.
It's on the dark web. It's the new Bitcoin. It's coming.
Okay, cool. I'm into it. Jacob's family were Hasidic Jews, although Jacob himself had moved away from the tradition. He came to be known for his Torah study. He and Freud's mother, Amalia Nathanson, who was 20 years younger and his third wife. So his dad married Freud's mom is 20 years younger than his dad, and it's his third wife. So
they're practically siblings.
They're practically siblings. Oh my God, there's so much incest in this story already. Depending on who you are, super hot, super not. We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Because it's a thing. People are into it. There's a reason it's out there, I don't know people.
Yeah. Well, it's also a thing. It makes me think of, have you ever noticed how when couples look like brother and sister? Or married people, it's yikes, dude, this looks like your twin.
Yeah.
And you have sex with that.
It's a little bit of, it's kind of narcissistic too. You want to fuck yourself.
Right. Or this person's so gorgeous. And then you look in the mirror and you see a reflection. Ooh, yikes.
Yeah, it's bad news bears. I'm not into it. They were struggling financially and living in a rented room in a locksmith's house at Scholzergasse when their son Sigmund was born. He was born with a caul, which I looked up. It's a membrane around a newborn's face. So it's basically like a wedding veil that they're born with.
It's like a penis hood for your actual head.
It's the stuff of nightmares. And but his mom thought it was a positive omen for the boy's future. How wrong she was, but that's what she thought. In 1859, the Freud family left Freiburg. Freud's half-brothers emigrated to Manchester, England, parting him from the inseparable playmate of his early childhood, Emmanuel's son John. So he lost his childhood friend at a very young age. Tragic. Yeah.
Classic case for a psychopath.
Jacob Freud took his wife and 2 children. Freud's sister Anna was born in 1858. A brother, Julius, born in 1857, had died in infancy. There's a lot of siblings. I'm losing track. There's a lot of siblings involved.
Yeah, we can lose a couple. At that point, it's
Yeah.
We'll think of you at the holidays, but really,
Really?
my life has not changed.
Yeah. You lose 30% of the kids. That's what happens. You know, you deal with it.
Less mouths to feed. We're good.
He proved to be an outstanding pupil and graduated in 1873 with honors. He loved literature and was proficient in German, French, Italian, Spanish, English, Hebrew, Latin, and Greek. So he spoke like 9 languages. That's pretty fucking hot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredibly hot.
That is incredibly... you know what? It's almost too much. Like, I'm like, you think you're better than me? What, Freud? You know?
Yeah. Well, like, how does dirty talk work then? He could just flow in and out of different languages? That would be... At that point, you could just make up your own language and people would be like, cool.
Yeah. You just speak Latin. No one speaks Latin. You can just pretend you can make up Latin. That'd be pretty cool. So far, killing it in the hotness points.
God, that is hot. I'm having a flashback right now.
Do you need a minute?
Honestly, okay. The beginning of quarantine, I matched with a Frenchman and like went over and like, you know.
What? That's the most romantic, like, I matched with a Frenchman on Tinder during the quarantine.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like day one back in LA of like being away for like 4 months. And I was like, we've been messaging, I'm gonna do it. And then long story short, we had a bunch of different mezcals and like I brought over like hors d'oeuvres. It was like a French picnic, poolside. He had a pool.
What?
And this motherfucker ate me out in the moonlight poolside.
Woo!
With like, and like thick French accent. I'm like, this.
What kind of storybook romance are you living?
Oh my God. There was literally, he was playing like Ratatouille French music, like on his speakers. It was like we were in a little villa. The lights, like the hanging lights from the poolside were happening. There was raccoons pitter pattering along the rooftop. We got, it was, in my mind, I was like, I honestly don't even want to see you again because I just want this to be like
too perfect. Yeah, you don't want to fuck with that. I can picture him playing a harp, you know?
He basically was with his mouth. It was glorious.
He was an artist.
He was an artist.
Oh
really
my
nice
God.
guy.
You know what? Fuck you. I'm jealous of your life. That is pretty fucking rad. The last time I got eaten out was a tepid blowjob from a guy who didn't want to do it. I didn't make him do it, but he didn't want to do it. And I had to be like, are you sure you want to do this? And he's like, no.
I don't, but I will.
I'm like, don't do it, bro. He was trying to prove something to himself, I think. I may as well have not even been there. He was going through something.
You can just take it off. Do you want this? This is yours now. I gotta go. I'm late for an appointment.
And then afterwards, we just sat outside and smoked a cigarette, and I tried to comfort him as he went through whatever he was going through. It was fucking wild. Men are wild. They don't know how to do it.
Wow, that is hot of you to do. The emotional labor for a stranger.
I can't not do it. I can't say no to people. It's a real issue. Anyway, let's get back to Freud. Let's jump into
I was going to say, who does Freud say no to in his life?
Freud entered the University of Vienna at age 17. He planned to study law, but joined the medical faculty at the university, where his studies included philosophy under Franz Brentano, physiology under Ernst Bruck, and zoology under Darwinist professor Karl Klaus. In 1876, Freud spent 4 weeks at Klaus's zoological research station in Trieste, dissecting hundreds of eels in an inconclusive search for their male reproductive organs. How is that?
I'm sorry.
They dissected hundreds of eels looking for balls and couldn't find any.
Couldn't find any. At first I was like, zoology, that's hot. But if the point of your zoology degree is to search for eel dick for
and you don't find it. Hundreds of eels dissected.
He found so many eels.
Uh-huh.
Why? Do you think that like one time an eel brushed up against him in like the Vienna beaches and he was like, I wonder if that thing fucks.
I gotta know. It looks like one giant dick, and he's looking for the dick inside the giant dick. Already, so much to unwrap.
Fascinating.
Yeah, very fascinating. Freud would have a lot to say about Freud if he could look at himself objectively. In 1877, Freud moved to Ernst Bruck's physiology laboratory, where he spent 6 years comparing the brains of humans and other vertebrates with those of frogs and invertebrates, such as crayfish and lampreys. All right. Straight up science now. He's gotten past his eel dick phase.
I bet a lab mate pulled him aside and was just like, yo, dude, you're smart. You have a lot of potential. You are wasting your time with this eel dick stuff.
We lost funding years ago. You're just in here dissecting eels you catch in the ocean.
This is your own free time now. You need to reel it in.
Take a shower, Sigmund. You're losing it. Freud's research work was interrupted in 1879 by the obligation to undertake a year's compulsory military service. The lengthy downtimes enabled him to complete a commission to translate 4 essays from John Stuart Mill's collected works, and he graduated with an MD in March 1881. So he went to the military, got his MD, very successful young lad. So far, so good.
Saw some shit in the military too. It's honestly, I think military men are hot.
I do too. Just objectively, ethics of the military. Who cares? That's not what we're talking about. It's hot.
Objectively, but also like respectfully.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe because I was raised in the Midwest, where it was like, I come from a place where like in parades, like there's like hometown military section, and you all stand and do the thing, and I kind of like that. I kind of think that. It's like yeah, thanks. Like, sure, it was a choice that they made sometimes, before they couldn't. But maybe that's the thing. Did he get drafted? Because that's also
if
he went by choice.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it. I don't think it was like he had to do it. It was like a year's thing that he had to do. I think my family was the same way with the military. I had a bunch of military in my family, and I think I'm just being a shitty little rebel right now, being like, I don't like it. I'm not like Papa.
Oh, you know what I just remembered? I think in Germany, when you graduate, you have to, before going to, but this was after his MD, you have, in other countries, you have to choose public service or military work for a year before you can move on in your life. Yeah,
that makes sense. I'm not sure why he was made to do it. I'm not sure if everyone is made to do it, but yeah, it was only a year though. That's not so bad.
Right. I take it back. It's not, if you're forced to do military, that's not hot.
No. It is hot to run to Canada, I think. Fleeing to Canada is super hot to me. I don't know why.
Yeah, that is rebellious.
Yeah, it's a risk, In 1886, Freud resigned his hospital post and entered private practice, specializing in nervous disorders. The same year, he married Martha Bernays, the granddaughter of Isaac Bernays, a chief rabbi in Hamburg. They had 6 children. He got married. He had 6 kids. That's stability right there.
That's stability.
Yeah, that's some solid stability points. And from what I understand, they stayed together his whole life. So that's,
that.
Yeah, that's something to look. Yeah, that's good.
Albert Einstein didn't do that.
No, I bet he was hot as fuck, though. I bet he maxed out on the hotness points, smoking his pipe and,
just being smarter than everybody.
And just being like, I shouldn't have made that bomb.
Right.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's just like he's just watching Nagasaki footage being like, why?
Interesting that Freud did nervous disorders to go into, because that's like synapses and brains and eel. It's still kind of the eel through line, because eels are nervousness balls of electricity.
Yeah, he's obsessed with eels. He's from the age of 6, he's got a phallic obsession. That's going to go through his whole life, I'm sure. We'll see it pop up in different times, I'm sure.
Perfect.
In 1896, Minna Bernays, Martha Freud's sister, became a permanent member of the Freud household after the death of her fiancé. Okay, so he let his sister-in-law live with him. Huge stability points there. And you know what? Some hotness points. Taking care of your family is hot to me.
Oh, yeah. I bet his wife was just thank you so much. What a bond they must have had over your family's my family kind of thing. Because not a lot of people would be into that.
No. Yeah. I mean, we don't know. He could have been furious about it, but he let it happen. That's what matters. That's pretty solid to me. That's, yeah. A lot of times hotness and stability don't go hand in hand, but right now he's a surprise contender. I did not expect it. Yeah. Freud began smoking. Oh, hold on. The close relationship she formed with Freud led to rumors starting by Carl Jung of an affair. So there's rumors that he's banging his sister-in-law. The discovery of a Swiss hotel guest book entry for 13 August 1898 signed by Freud whilst traveling with his sister-in-law has been presented as evidence of the affair. So he might be boning his sister-in-law.
I mean, honestly, her fiance just died. She's in a fragile state.
Yeah. She's vulnerable, Freud. Get in there. Come on.
Vulnerable. He's like, look, I'm going to take you in, but you need to pay some rent.
Yeah. Maybe his wife was cool with it. Like, just give her some happiness,
I've thought about this. I have two sisters, and we're pretty similar in age, and we've never been remotely shared the same interest in men, but I've thought about this. I was like, I don't know if I couldn't sleep with someone knowing that they slept with my sister.
That would be too weird.
I just couldn't.
I wouldn't be able to avoid the questions. You know what I mean? The comparisons. Like, who's better? Yeah.
Well, it's like, I would have to be like, do all of our vaginas look the same? And he'd be like, you ask your sister. I'd be like, well, technically you're the closest point of contact for this conversation.
Can you draw a sketch of my sister's vagina real quick so I can get a general? Yeah. Freud began smoking tobacco at age 24. Initially a cigarette smoker, he became a cigar smoker. I don't like that. Cigarettes I can deal with. Cigars, I'm not into.
Really?
What's the point of a cigar? Oh, by the way, phallic. Another phallic thing for young smoking cigars. Yeah, I'm super into that.
I think cigars is a hot point.
You don't inhale it. You just...
I think the social aspect of it, again, maybe I'm just like a shitty traditionalist, but I do like the idea of just like a man smoking a cigar. I don't know.
I think there's something about it. There is something about it. I'll give you that. I do like that it's phallic because I love that keeps popping up.
It's the closest a man is going to get to something large, like a closed-minded man would be like,
yeah.
Just honking on a fucking...
Constantly putting it in way too deep while he's smoking
it.
Yeah,
slopping it. Cigars are always slopping wet.
Just licking it. Oh my God. Yeah. Just someone smoking a cigar, just drooling.
Just deep throating the cigar. Fucking your wife's sister.
Oh my God. Okay.
This man
is naughty boy, Sigmund. He believed smoking enhanced his capacity to work and that he could exercise self-control in moderating it. Despite health warnings from colleague Wilhelm Fleiss, he remained a smoker, eventually suffering from cancer. So he paid the piper on that one. Big bummer. Yeah. Freud suggested to Fleiss in 1897 that addictions, including that to tobacco, were substitutes for masturbation, the one great habit. That's what he calls masturbation, is the one great habit. The great unifier.
What is this man's libido? He has a wife to fuck, he has a sister-in-law to fuck, and he's masturbating daily?
Yeah, and he's pretending to suck a big dick in his mouth. He's a horny
searching
boy.
Up encyclopedias of eels.
That's right, the eels. Oh my God, what is with this guy?
I'm not over the eel thing. I'm never going to get over that.
So we've confirmed he's definitely banging his step-siblings. He definitely did that when he was a kid, or at least had fantasies about it.
I definitely had fantasies about, oh my God, he got to live out the fantasy of the step-sibling by having a sister-in-law.
That's the closest you can get without it being weird.
Right.
Yeah. Damn. This guy fucks. Sigmund Freud fucks.
And it sounds like he compartmentalizes his day. Like when he said he uses tobacco to like almost like productivity. It's almost like those writing exercises where they're like write for 20 minutes and then give yourself a break and then write for 20 minutes and then go do like reward system. So he was like regimented. Rewarding himself with cigars and masturbation, which honestly, whatever, that kind of is hot. If you know, it's really hard to be productive. So if you know what you need.
I dig it. He's a surprise contender. I was not expecting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Once he had set up in private practice back in Vienna in 1886, Freud began using hypnosis in his clinical work. He adopted the approach of his friend and collaborator, Joseph Breuer, in a type of hypnosis which was different from the French methods he had studied, in that it did not use suggestion. So he's hypnotizing people and just letting them go wild in their subconscious.
That's hot as fuck.
Do you buy hypnosis? I'm very skeptical. Yes. Okay.
I do. I was skeptical about it for sure, but there's like, not to bring other things in, but Barney and the first couple to ever be abducted by aliens on record in the U.S.
Okay.
Is like literally Barney Rubble or something, like very Flintstones.
Made up.
It's Betty and Barney. I swear to God, they were like an interracial couple, so it was like super taboo. And so, long story short, they didn't want to tell people what was going on because they didn't want their marriage to be separated because they're like, we're already an interracial couple at a time, you can't be, and we don't want to tell people about aliens. So they got hypnotized and like separately, and they had the same exact story under hypnosis, and it was just the way that was like one of the first on record of hypnosis being like an actual legitimate like repressed memory type of shit. And like a lot of like spiritual work that I've been getting into is like hypnosis kind of all like can put you with, like past life kind of situations. I think it's fucking hot.
Yeah, I'm into it. I still don't believe it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a snarky little. Everything's like, no, I don't believe that. You know, I'm a doubter.
Been jaded, Karina.
I've been jaded. Yeah, I spent too long in Portland. I'm a doubter of everything. Let's see, where were we? The inconsistent results of Freud's early work eventually led him to abandon hypnosis, having concluded that more consistent and effective symptom relief could be achieved by encouraging patients to talk freely without censorship or inhibition about whatever ideas and memories occurred to them. Fuck you, Joann! I was right! Suck a dick. Perfect timing. It feels like I write these articles sometimes.
I can't believe this. Which also, I mean, still a hot factor, but yeah.
Right, yeah.
You know what, hypnosis, tried you, fuck that. Just have people fucking be themselves and talk it out.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, he's like the first therapist.
Yeah, he's being super experimental. I dig it. I'm into it. Yeah, I would try
hypnosis, but fine. Fuck, yeah, fine.
I don't think hypnosis, I'm not saying it definitely doesn't work. I've never tried it before, you know, and I'm very skeptical because I don't know.
Well, then it's not going to work for you.
During this period, Freud experienced heart irregularities, disturbing dreams, and periods of depression. A neurasthenia, which he linked to the death of his father in 1896, and which prompted a self-analysis of his own dreams and memories of childhood. Okay, so he's getting sick, and he's starting to look back on his life a little bit, which is what you do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the regret phase.
Yeah. In. And this is where we get into a little more, I swear incest just keeps coming up with Freud. We're going to get into a little bit more incest stuff. His explorations of his feelings of hostility to his father and rivalrous jealousy over his mother's affection led him to fundamentally revise the theory of the origin of neuroses. So he's jealous of his dad for getting his mom's love.
Wild.
Yeah.
But that's not even his biological mom. That's the third mom?
No, this is his mom. His third wife was Freud's mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's 20 years younger than his dad, which is its own thing. There's a lot going on here.
He's like, I'm closer in age to this woman than you are, and you shouldn't be getting hugs. I should be sucking the boobs.
You don't appreciate her the way that I do.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, I suck those titties real good.
He's a real mama's boy.
Man, Freud. Jesus Christ. On the basis of his early clinical work, Freud had postulated that unconscious memories of sexual molestation in early childhood were a necessary precondition for the psychoneuroses, a formulation now known as Freud's seduction theory. So unless you got molested as a kid, you're not neurotic, is what he's trying. That's what I get from that. I'm not very smart. I don't know. That's what he said, right?
Was he saying the sentence was like, if you were molested as a child, you absolutely are neurotic?
No, it's a necessary precondition. So you're not neurotic unless you were molested as a child, is what he's saying.
Right.
Yeah. So
his dad molested him, is what he's trying to put out there.
It's a cry for help. I think it's an absolute cry for help.
What did they name this again? Why did they name it Freud's seduction theory? That makes him sound like a fucking creep.
His dad seduced him. Yeah, his dad said, "Oh my god." His story.
No wonder he has anger.
I know.
Anybody would.
His story is all kinds of fucked up.
You know what's also interesting is they use hypnosis again for that repressed memory stuff. So let me hypothesize this.
He discovered repressed memories.
And he was like, I'm not fucking going there. And he was like, no. He saw some shit he didn't want to see because hypnosis worked on him. And he's like, fuck hypnosis. I'm just going to free talk. And everyone's going to...
I'm never going back to that again. Oh my God. He totally did. Wow. What a fucking wild ride so far. This transition from the theory of infantile sexual trauma as a general explanation of how all neuroses originate to one that presupposes an autonomous infantile sexuality provided the basis for Freud's subsequent formation of the theory of the Oedipus complex. Okay, a lot of that was gibberish to me, but he invented the Oedipus complex. That's the important takeaway.
What is that? I'm unfamiliar.
I think it's the urge to fuck your mom. It's an ancient Greek myth about a dude who fucked his mom.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's wanting to fuck your mom. So he developed that theory of wanting to fuck his mom. Just totally out of the vacuum of space, not related to anything about him. Totally unrelated.
It's just a thought. And a theory.
Entered his mind. Yeah. He was just busy dissecting some eels and was, thinking about his mom like you do.
Like, what would my mom like this? Everything. Could you imagine being trapped in your own brain before all of these, being the culprit to come up with these theories of I want to fuck my mom and I morally know that I can't. So I'm going to have to become a scientist to prove that I'm not a crazy person for wanting to fuck my mom.
His whole life is dedicated to normalizing fucking his mom. That's his whole life's work is to doing that. Yeah.
Which honestly, that's kind of hot because it's if you see a problem, you need to explain it to the nth degree.
Yeah. He's not saying I'm going to go fuck my mom. He's saying I would like to, but I'm not going to fuck my mom, which I suppose is the best you can do with that urge, right? Is to be I totally see it, but no. It's a big no-no.
I'm gonna hate my father for fucking my mom because I don't get to.
Jealous. What a fucking weird dude. Okay. During this formative period of work, Freud valued and came to rely on the intellectual and emotional support of his friend Wilhelm Fleiss, a Berlin-based ear, nose, and throat specialist whom he had met in 1887. So an ear, nose, and throat doctor and Freud having...
Just deep throat.
He's deep throating too many cigars. Yeah, and he got burned.
I need medical help.
Both men saw themselves as isolated from the prevailing clinical and theoretical mainstream because of their ambitions to develop radical new theories of sexuality. What? How is an ENT doctor developing sexuality theories? How is that?
Because it's all about the holes. He's like, these are the holes I can talk about.
Oh my, yeah, Freud's got the dicks. Freud's got the dicks and Fleiss has got the holes. Together, they can.
Together, they're gonna travel south.
No, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Fleiss developed highly eccentric theories of human biorhythms and a nasogenital connection, which are today considered pseudoscientific. So he's like, yo, the nose and the groin totally connected somehow.
Wow.
I think he just is an ear, nose, and throat specialist who is super horny and just making connections left and right.
I bet he's the one who came up with that theory that every time you sneeze, it's 1,000 little orgasms.
I bet. That would make sense. God, man, he's got some weird friends. Okay.
Love it.
He shared Freud's views on the importance of certain aspects of sexuality, masturbation, coitus interruptus, and the use of condoms, in the etiology of what were then called the actual neuroses, primarily neurasthenia and certain physically manifested anxiety symptoms. Okay, so masturbation and condoms give you anxiety, I guess, or they're connected. A lot of this is gibberish to me.
I mean, that seems a backwards theory about condoms, but...
Yeah, it does. I mean, a lot of his theories have been wild. He's just going left and he's reaching, which I appreciate.
Right.
That's what you got to be as a researcher. You got to take wild steps.
You have to.
Yeah, and you got to talk about what you know. So if you know that your mom's hot, that's what you talk about.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
What you know.
Yeah.
Research what you are dabbling with personally.
Yeah, absolutely. They maintained an extensive correspondence from which Freud drew on Fleiss's speculations on infantile sexuality and bisexuality to elaborate and revise his own ideas. Infantile sexuality. That does not seem...
Does that just mean adolescence?
I'm picturing a baby, but it probably means adolescence. You're probably right. That makes way more sense. It must be a baby, because Freud's a weird dude. He's can't stop talking about sexuality and babies and him being a baby. I'm so overwhelmed by this guy. I wish him peace.
He's literally walking around being like, babies are sexual beings.
Give them agency to get what they want.
Yes.
Yeah.
If that baby wants to put a boob in his mouth, it's not just for sustenance.
It's natural.
Sometimes he ain't hungry.
Look at how hot that mom is. Can you blame him?
Hot.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay.
Wild.
Absolutely wild. Okay. This is a weird little aside. It involves... Okay, here we go. For this whole section here, Freud had Fleiss repeatedly operate on his nose and sinuses to treat nasal reflex neuroses. Okay, so he's operating on his nose because something sexual. I don't know what that is.
Nasal reflex neuroses. Does he sneeze too much when he comes or something?
I think it's something to do with his connection to his dick and his nose. I don't know.
Okay.
Not important.
Okay.
Then he subsequently referred his patient, Emma Eckstein, to Fleiss. And according to Freud, her history of symptoms included severe leg pains with consequent restricted mobility, as well as stomach and menstrual pains. The pains were, according to Fleiss's theories, caused by habitual masturbation, which, as the tissue of the nose and genitalia were linked, was curable by removal of part of the middle turbinate. So he took out part of her nose to stop the damage that masturbation was doing to her legs.
What?
Yeah, this makes Freud's mom fucking theories look tame.
Could you imagine agreeing to that?
Yeah, she
like,
was
what
like...
a sales
totally.
pitch.
It gets... This poor girl, it gets so much worse. Fleiss's surgery proved disastrous, resulting in profuse recurrent nasal bleeding. He had left a 0.5 meter of gauze in Eckstein. 0.5 meter! That sounds like a lot. In Eckstein's navel cavity, whose subsequent removal left her permanently disfigured. This poor girl is... She can't masturbate anymore. She lost her nose. Her leg hurts. I don't think her leg got any better.
No, I'm assuming the leg stayed the same.
Oh my God.
You think she caused her to masturbate more then? She was like, fuck this. This is all I have.
Yeah, that's all I got left. She's got a disfigured face now. This poor Freud ruined this girl's life.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And then Freud, at first, though aware of Fleiss's culpability and regarding the remedial surgery in horror, Freud could only bring himself to intimate delicately in his correspondence with Fleiss the nature of his disastrous role. So he can't bring himself to be like, bro, what did you do?
You fucked up.
You
I
really
don't
fucked up.
want part of this fucking enterprise we're doing together no more.
But he can't say it because he's too passive to do it, I guess. Freud ultimately, in light of Eckstein's history, in light of the girl's history of adolescent self-cutting and irregular nasal and menstrual bleeding, concluded that Fleiss, the doctor, was completely without blame, as Eckstein's post-operative hemorrhages were hysterical wish bleedings linked to an old wish to be loved in her illness, as triggered as a means of re-arousing Freud's affection. Whoa.
What?
Yes. So Freud's like, yo, you're making it up. You want attention. You want this dick. That's why you're bleeding. And
that is the ultimate gaslighting.
I know. Yo, the cherry on top of it, though, Eckstein nonetheless continued her analysis with Freud. So she kept seeing Freud after all of that.
Then she has Stockholm Syndrome.
What a master manipulator this guy is.
Oh, right.
Wow. Yeah. Is that hot? I think that's kind of hot. A master manipulator. I know it's not healthy, but I think it's kind of hot.
I mean, I can imagine the smooth talk, just the coyness of just like I'm a doctor, I'm out there, my theories are correct. Like to convince yourself that you are onto something outside of the norm is psychotic, right?
Yeah.
And then to convince somebody else to like go under the knife for you when you have no idea what you're talking about.
She's getting a nose surgery. I don't even know what it was, to stop masturbating. She's getting a nose surgery.
Well, it sounded like she bled every time she masturbated. And they were like, okay. They talk about menses, right?
No, she just had, she did have menstrual pains, but then she had leg pains and menstrual pains. And that was why she got her nose removed.
The hilarious part of all this is that everything that I've read and known about masturbation is that it's supposed to be a relaxation tool.
Yeah, right? I mean, the only bad thing I've heard is it makes you blind. That's a false theory that I've heard.
Because all the cum that goes in your eye. That's why.
Wow. So he's a total manipulator, which, depending on your perspective, is hot, I think. In a bad way.
What was that book that turned into a movie? The BDSM seduction guy. Basically.
Oh, the 50 Shades of Grey?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I've never seen it, but this is what I'm picturing him being like.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, lay down. I'll tie you up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll knock you out and you'll wake up better.
What the fuck? Holy shit. Okay, so Freud is not taking responsibility for that, and that girl is like, "You're right, it's my fault." Poor girl.
Speechless.
Yeah. Freud, who had called Fleiss the Kepler of biology, I don't know who Kepler is. I assume that's a good thing. Later concluded that a combination of a homoerotic attachment and the residue of his specifically Jewish mysticism lay behind his loyalty to his Jewish friend and his consequent overestimation of both his theoretical and clinical work. So finally, he's like, yo, I think you're hot and you're Jewish, so I'm super into that. You're the kind of guy I could bring home to my mother wife, and I'm super into that.
Right. He's like, look, I've been thinking about your little holes this entire time and would love if you want to get a glass of wine.
Yeah. Let's fill up that ear, nose, and throat. What do you think? Huh? Wow. He just can't stop. His mind is obsessed with fucking. He's just
Those two had to have experimented like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if he's like saying that his homoerotic attachment to him is what's driving him, they definitely at least they did something, you know?
They were, I guarantee they were deep throating while like plugging each other's nose to like see if they came harder.
They were calling it experiments. Yeah. Like
Yes.
plugging the nose while giving a handy. Like, does that work?
Yes. And then like taking notes. Yeah.
They're just having real hot, steamy sex and pretending it's an experiment. And
I mean, like, right. I think it's fine if two doctors want to test their own theories on each other. By all means, that sounds more safe.
This is the horniest ear, nose, and throat doctor I have ever heard of. How does he jump? I am totally flabbergasted by this guy. But you know, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? I'm just, it to me, it kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, the nose and the groin.
I don't know about the attachment of the nose and the groin. I mean, maybe because like erotic asphyxiation, if you cut out, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
there is something there.
There's something about, but I always thought that had to do with like pressure and like fear, fear coming. Not like
to do with like a loss of blood flow to your brain too, and then like the release of that, I think.
Yeah.
So that's, but you know, you can make the argument that anything is connected to the groin. You know what I mean? If you rub your forearm.
Yeah, like if I hit my funny bone in my elbow, and then all of a sudden my pussy starts tingling, I can't make that claim. Can't wait to try that theory later.
I'm gonna have to find out if that works. They are just, so right now we're just early 1900s. They're just reaching left and right, coming with all kinds of theories. But then the friendship came to an acrimonious end, with Fleiss angry at Freud's unwillingness to endorse his general theory of sexual periodicity, which is something. I don't know what that is. And after Fleiss failed to respond to Freud's offer of collaboration over publication of his 3 essays on the theory of sexuality in 1906, their relationship came to an end. So they're finally done. Their holes have been filled to the capacity. They're ready to move on. Freud misses his mom. He's going to go back to her.
He's like, look, my mom never second-guessed me, so
you
bought my book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love it. I mean, it only makes sense that two men who are clearly kind of like neurotic tendencies their friendship would explode over something silly like that.
Yeah. You didn't like my book?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your butchering of my patient, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
She had it
That's
coming.
fine. She asked for it.
She wanted this dick, and that's the whole reason for everything.
Yeah, and you wanted this dick too. So
buy my book. Can have it. Yeah. Buy my book. In 1902, Freud at last realized his long-standing ambition to be made a university professor. The title Professor Extraordinarius was important to Freud for the recognition and prestige it conferred, there being no salary or teaching duties attached to the post. So he just wanted the title, which I get it. That's a great title.
Extraordinarius. He made up his own word. Like, I need you to call me this.
Yeah. I need you to call me
every letter you send me better be addressed this way.
I am mommy's special boy. That's what you have to refer to me as from now on.
Mommy's special extraordinarius boy.
Wow. Despite support from the university, his appointment had been blocked in successive years by the political authorities, and it was secured only with the intervention of one of his more influential ex-patients, a Baroness Marie Ferstel, who supposedly had to bribe the Minister of Education with a valuable painting. So his patients love him. Sounds like his patients are very loyal.
It sounds kind of culty. I mean, like, you could imagine if patients were like, it's kind of like a Trump thing. Yeah. Like, let's get a new theory in here. Let's get someone who's one of us. I think about fucking my mom too. He found his own people.
He did. He's a very magnetic man. He's basically a cult leader, but I bet that's hot. Someone who can draw a crowd and command respect, that's pretty hot to me.
I don't believe that. I like the quiet man in the corner that like is everyone's like, everyone has an inside joke with that guy. They're best friends, but no one really knows anything about him. And then that's where I'm like, I want to know everything about you.
I'm going to know you. Okay, I get that. Yeah. This is good. We'll balance each other out. We'll meet in the middle at the end of this. Right now we have 2 people tied for 27 out of 30 and 2 people at 10 out of 30. So we need some more middle points.
That's fair.
Yeah. Let's see. With his prestige thus enhanced, Freud continued with a regular series of lectures on his work, which, since the mid-1880s as a docent of Vienna University, he had been delivering to small audiences every Saturday evening at the lecture hall of the university's psychiatric clinic. Giving lectures. Yeah.
He's preaching. He's preaching to his cult.
He's preaching. It's less science and more incest porn at this point, I think.
Which, amen for giving people an outlet.
Yeah. You know what? It's harmless. It's totally harmless. Let's see. From the autumn of 1902, a number of Viennese physicians who had expressed interest in Freud's work were invited to meet at his apartment every Wednesday afternoon to discuss issues relating to psychology and neuropathology. This group was called the Wednesday Psychological Society, and it marked the beginnings of the worldwide psychoanalytic movement. And there's a guy here describing the ritual of the meeting. So first one of the members would present a paper, then black coffee and cakes were served. Cigar and cigarettes were on the table and were consumed in great quantities. More phallic shit. It has to come back. Mm-hmm. After a social quarter of an hour, the discussion would begin, and the last and decisive word was always spoken by Freud himself. Freud himself there was an atmosphere of the foundation of a religion in that room. Freud himself was its new prophet who made the heretofore prevailing methods of psychological investigation appear superficial. You were dead on. He's basically starting a religion here.
He is.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I love a good dinner party. I love hosting. So, like, that was, like, that's cool for me. But then the twist is, like, to have the last word. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gross. He's a power-hungry boy. He's got a picture of his mom above the table the entire time.
He kisses it every time before the meeting commences.
Yeah, calls her by her first name, too.
Gross.
All right, we're coming up on the last 20% here. In February 1923, Freud detected a leukoplakia, a benign growth associated with heavy smoking, out of his mouth. He initially kept this secret, but in April 1923, he informed Ernest Jones, telling him that the growth had been removed. So he's lying about his cancer. That always ends well. Freud consulted the dermatologist Maximilian Steiner, who advised him to quit smoking, but he lied about the growth's seriousness, minimizing its importance, which I don't get. Why would you lie to him? He wants him out, I guess. He wants to kill him.
Wait, the doctor lied to Freud? He's like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Quit smoking, probably, but it's not so big.
If you want, it's fine. Meanwhile, he's like a walking billboard for like chewing tobacco.
Yeah, he's just like hanging a big thing. It's like drooping out of his face. Okay.
Oh, how could he lie and be like, it's gone? Man, Freud.
Are you sure? Yeah, it's fine. Freud later saw Felix Deutsch, who saw that the growth was cancerous. He identified it to Freud using the euphemism a bad leukoplakia instead of the technical diagnosis epithelioma. Deutsch advised Freud to stop smoking and have the growth excised. Fair. And Freud was treated by Marcus Hayek, a rhinologist. What is with him and noses? What the fuck is up with him and noses?
I only trust a nose doctor for any heart surgery.
It's in his mouth. Why is he doing this? Oh, God, this guy's fucking crazy. Holy shit. Hayek performed an unnecessary cosmetic surgery in his clinic's outpatient department. Freud bled during and after the operation and narrowly escaped death. Freud subsequently saw Deutsch again. Deutsch saw that further surgery would be required, but did not tell Freud he had cancer because he was worried that Freud would commit suicide. So this is This doctor, what the fuck is up with doctors in the early 1900s?
And they're just like, I'm not going to give them all the information.
Don't want to give them bad news.
Also,
I just hate giving people bad news. You're fine.
Good enough to tell people that they're dying. So just not going to do it.
Yeah. I just don't feel it. You know?
Also, full circle. Sounds like karma's a bitch, Freud. You bleeding out your nose unnecessarily.
Yeah. Oh, man. You had it coming. You just wanted to suck that doctor's dick. Yeah. You're just wishing it. Man. Okay. In January 1933, the Nazi Party took control of Germany, and Freud's books were prominent among those they burned and destroyed. Freud remarked to Ernest Jones, "What progress we are making. In the Middle Ages, they would have burned me. Now they're content with burning my books." What a silver lining that he found. Wow. Forever the optimist.
For a cult leader to be okay with his work being burned,
that's pretty big.
That's pretty big. Maybe he's not as fully 2 feet in. Maybe just 1 foot into the cult thing.
Maybe. Yeah, he doesn't. I was gonna say he didn't seem like too out there, but he totally does. He's a wild man. I don't get him at all. He's doing well though. Like, I'm into it, you know?
I think that it's a person who found their life calling and really went for it.
Very early on.
And just catapulted themselves. And that takes a lot of courage.
That. Yeah, I respect that. He handled wanting to fuck his mom better than anyone could have. Like, that's the best way. Yeah.
Honestly, he started a book club, essentially. He started I Want to Fuck My Mom book club.
Yeah. What the fuck? Freud continued to underestimate the growing Nazi threat and remained determined to stay in Vienna, even following the Germany annexation of Austria and the outbreaks of violent anti-Semitism that ensued. So he's like, it's fine. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. He's like, I'm safe.
Jones, the then president of his Wednesday group, flew into Vienna from London. Wait, no. Start again. Jones, this is a different group. I was wrong. Jones, the then president of the International Psychoanalytical Association, flew into Vienna from London via Prague on March 15th, determined to get Freud to change his mind and seek exile in Britain. This prospect and the shock of the arrest and interrogation of Anna Freud by the Gestapo. Oh, his sister-in-law got arrested. Oh, shit. His slam piece. Gone.
Does he go save her? Is he like,
I doubt it. He does not seem like a kind fella. Yeah. Probably like she was asking for it. What was she wearing? What was she wearing?
Lock her up. Did she look good, though?
I was done with her anyway. Yeah. I wanted the spare room back. So he finally left after that happened, though. He left Austria, and they went to London. In the Freud's new home in North London, Freud's Vienna consulting room was recreated in faithful detail. He continued to see patients there until the terminal stages of his illness. So here we are in the home run here. The end of Freud. Yeah, a couple paragraphs left. By mid-September 1939, Freud's cancer of the jaw was causing him increasingly severe pain and had been declared inoperable. The last book he read, La Peau de Chagrin, prompted reflections on his own increasing frailty, and a few days later he turned to his doctor, friend, and fellow refugee, Max Schur, reminding him that they had previously discussed the terminal stages of his illness. "Schur, you remember our contract not to leave me in the lurch when the time had come. Now it is nothing but torture and makes no sense." So shit, he wants out. He wants to get.
He's like, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I need you to assist a suicide, okay?
I really respect. Yo, bro, trying to die. Come on.
Contract. Remember we shook on it. You're gonna fucking kill me. And
Gentleman's contract. Kill me, bro. Yeah. I respect that. Someone who sees their time and is like, I'm out. I respect that. It takes confidence to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people, the sad part is, I think a lot of people now feel that way, that they're just like, don't let me die in hospice, just pull the plug now. And family members are like, just hold on. It's like, but I don't want to.
Yeah, it should always be up to them, definitely.
Yeah.
I appreciate that his friend, and then his friend was like, "Yo, totally." He said, when Schur replied that he had not forgotten, Freud said, "I thank you," and then talk it over with Anna. If she thinks it's right, then make an end of it. Anna Freud wanted to postpone her father's death. You were right. They always want to do that. But Schur convinced her it was pointless to keep him alive. And on the 21st and 26th, do you think his mom just died? That's why he's doing this. Like, he just lost his mom, and he's like, once my partner is gone, yeah, I don't want to be alive without Mama Freud.
She's flying away. I gotta play catch up. I gotta run ahead. I
don't want her to find a new baby boy in heaven. Yeah. I'm her baby boy. Wow. On 21st and 22nd of September, they administered doses of morphine that resulted in Freud's death around 3 a.m. on the 23rd of September, 1939. However, discrepancies in the various accounts Schur gave of his role in Freud's final hours, which have in turn led to inconsistencies between Freud's main biographers, has led to further research and a revised account. This proposes that Schur was absent from Freud's deathbed when a third and final dose of morphine was administered by Dr. Josephine Strauss, a colleague of Anna Freud. I don't get the significance of that.
They're saying that the friend didn't give the final lethal dosage, a different doctor did.
Like against his will? Or why would they even include that? That doesn't feel significant to me.
I don't know. I feel like maybe because they're just like, yo, dude, that first doctor did not go through with his contract.
He lied.
I couldn't do it. But also, like, they said his jaw was inoperable. If you have cancer of the jaw, like, if your whole mouth, like, truly, get rid of me if that's going to happen. You know? Can't
eat. This is before IVs, probably, so he has to, like, eat food. Like
oh, yeah. How are you doing it?
Yeah.
It's all soup. It's all muddled carrots.
I get it. This poor boy.
Poor mama's boy.
Yeah. And that is the end of Dr. Sigmund Freud. He's with his mom in heaven now. So let's do the rating. What do you think? We got hotness, we got stability, and we got bonus points. We'll start with hotness. He's a cocky boy. He's a cult leader. He's very successful. He fucks. Definitely fucks.
He can't wait. He fucks all the things.
Anything he can.
He probably fucked some eels. I wouldn't doubt if he fucking fucked some zoo animals.
Definitely. But you know what? I'm willing to bet he did not give oral. I'm willing to bet he was not a giver in bed.
Yeah, I firmly agree with you.
Yeah, so that's not very hot. I don't like that.
No, I think, and like cockiness can be hot to a degree until you're like annoying.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna go full throttle on the hotness because to me personally, if too much personality is a distraction. I think it's
also gross. He's gonna lose some points for the Oedipus thing. He's got to lose some points for that. That's a given.
Oh yeah, the gaslighting thing. I mean, literally his biggest failure with that woman. He could have just said like, "I am so sorry. Thank you for coming along on this entrepreneurial journey." But instead he's like, "Bitch, you wanted to fuck me." So
yeah. At least give her like a gift certificate or something, some kind of like consolation prize. Right. Okay, so I'm thinking like a 5 on hotness.
I'd go 5 or 6 because intellect is kind of hot still too. So I would go.
You think it's 6?
I go 6.
All right, I'll meet you at 6. We'll do 6 for hotness. Okay. And then stability, pretty stable. I mean, he had a wife the whole time. His daughter was involved by his death. He had a bunch of kids. Successful career.
Yeah, exactly. Stable. He sounded, I really, again, appreciate all of the hard work he did to get to where he was. It sounded like he really put in the work to get the results that he wanted. Yeah. So I think he's a 10 out of 10 stability.
I think for possibly fucking his sister-in-law and his friend.
Oh, I guess. Stability isn't work ethic, Joann. That is what I confused in my mind.
No, but it plays into it because you got a stable career. It means you don't got to worry about being homeless when your husband loses his job,
Right.
So I'll give him, because it's not for sure that he fucked his sister-in-law and his best friend. I want to say 6, so we'll meet at 7. You want to call it 7? So that's 6 in hotness, 7 in stability, and now bonus points. How many bonus points this is where our opinion comes in. We can give him whatever we want for whatever reason. I mean,
go on.
No, go ahead. You go first.
I was going to say the only real major bonus points for me are his. I love boldness.
Yeah,
and especially boldness and sexuality, and like he sounded like a entrepreneur isn't the word I want, but like ahead of his time, if you will.
Yeah.
Of like
innovator.
Yeah. And created a safe space for people, obviously, even though it was culty, but like
he did.
Created a foundation for like-minded people to like come to his home and have some dinner and cigarettes and talk about your fucking parts tingling alongside your nose.
Some really wild theories throughout his life.
Yeah, super wild. I'm not convinced he's a good person, but no. I not a good person. Bonus points just for like you doing you, sir.
For pulling off some of the most efficient gaslighting I have ever seen. I cannot believe how much that girl went on to study, became a psychoanalyst herself afterwards. She wound up becoming a psychoanalyst after the procedure. So he had a real influence on her. I'm going to give him, he also paved the way for incest porn that wouldn't have existed without Sigmund Freud. He's a pioneer in that sense.
And this is like a true fact. You keep bringing this up. This is like a true fact.
I'm just assuming. I'm putting
every incest porn person is just like has a poster of Freud on their wall.
Yes, that's what I'm assuming. He's Papa Incest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him 4 bonus points.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say 3.
We'll give him 3. We'll give him 3 bonus points.
Okay.
So that's
for being a little freak.
That's
3 freaky points.
Yeah, what did we had 7 for stability, 6 for hotness.
Yep. And
7 we got so right now that's 16. So right now we've got Malcolm X and RBG at 27, Stalin and Nietzsche at 16, and Stalin and who is this? Freud at 16, and then Ayn Rand and Nietzsche at 10. We just can't shake the ties, but 16 points for Sigmund Freud.
16 points. You know what's funny? I've been really getting into numerology and how you can break any number down between 1 through 9, and then there's different meanings of 1 through 9. And a 16 is a 7, and 7 is like a God number.
Ooh, okay. I'm into that.
So, Freud, there might be more to the story.
Freud is God. Yeah.
Freud's a god of sorts, I would assume.
Yeah, he's a weird god. He's the god the other gods don't talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They know of him, but
he's like Zeus's 15th kid. He's like half goose because Zeus had a wild hair up his ass.
True.
And that's been Nietzsche. That's not Nietzsche. I keep on trying to say Nietzsche. I've done 2 Germans in a row, and it's really getting to me. That's Freud.
It's been Freud. I didn't know that I'm Austrian. I didn't know that he was Austrian.
Oh, so he's born in what is now the Czech Republic, but he was in the Austrian Empire. You know?
Okay, Austrian Empire, yeah.
Yeah, it's way back when. So that's a middle of the line guy. That was
little professor of freak.
Yeah, that was a wild story. It was a really wild story.
One of my favorite parts is just making up your own. You know how people are annoying when they make up their own nicknames? And for him to be making up, call me extraordinaire.
Professor Extraordinarius.
Professor Extraordinaire. The person like, fuck no, dude.
Right. Oh my God. I love that. Thank you for joining us today, Joann Schinderle. You got anything you want people to check out? Follow you on Insta?
Thanks for having me. Very fucking fun. Please follow me at JoJo Schinderle on Instagram, where I am a little freak and write erotic stories. So you can sign up for those.
Yo, write a Freud story.
Ooh, I will write a Freud. It's on my docket for today.
Yeah.
Putting it on there.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. I will be back every Monday, So we got a new episodes coming out every Monday. Next week is we're joined by Ben Harkins, and we're going to be talking about, I don't know who yet. We have to figure that out.
I'm going to tune into that one.
That'll be a fun one. Yeah, that'll be a real fun one. All right. We'll see you next Monday, everyone. Bye-bye.